Well, I'm Jonathan Barney,
And I'm Chelsea Barney.
and we're church planners to Glendale Heights, working with the North American Misison Board. And we're really, really excited to share with you a little bit of our journey and where God is calling us. And a lot of people ask us, all right, why church planting? And for us, part of our journey was, I remember looking back a year and a half ago, and looking at these different research that showed just amazing things about how church planting was just so effective. And so church growth in America is about 80 to 98% of it, and I think it's more toward the 98%, is just transfer growth. So just people going from church to church is where most growth happens. But in church plants, however, just by nature, really well done research, 60 to 80% of growth is through new converts, new believers. There's some other research too that shows how church plants baptize 10 times as many new believers as established churches do. And so it's research like that we started looking at and together and like, man, this is amazing how God works and planting churches. I mean, this is biblical. This is Book of Acts. This is the Great Commission. And so that's where we really got our heart for, because our heart beats for the lost. And we want a church that is for the lost. Chelsea and I aren't interested in building a church just where we can attract other Christians too, but we want to reach out and win the lost for the sake of Christ. And so that's something that really got us.
And a lot of people wonder why Glendale Heights. It's just kind of this suburb that a lot of people just drive through and never really give a second thought to. But Glendale Heights is very unique among the suburbs. People say, like, why do the suburbs need another church? Wheaton, right next door, has 75 churches, but Glendale Heights has one small evangelical church and another tiny Taiwanese church that is on the verge of dying out. And it is also the second most diverse suburb in the entire state. It's just a incredibly diverse population, about 1/3 Hispanic, about 25% Asian, and that comprises people from many different countries, from India, Iraq, Iran, Nepal, and Vietnam, many others. And it just really excites us how God is bringing the nations to Glendale Heights, and it's just this little microcosm of God's mission for the gospel to be preached to all nations of the earth. So we're very excited, and there's a real need in Glendale Heights. It is just something incredibly unique there.
Yeah, so that's probably why we got such a heart for it, just going and seeing the people, and like, man, these are people from all over, and people that we've worked with too in the past, in the last 10, 15 years. I remember we went to a park with our kids, and I met Francisco there and his boy, his little son, and started talking to him, and it didn't take long, but he was then sharing his life, opening his life to me, and sharing how, about a year or so ago, he had gotten out of prison, actually, and he shared, we were talking spiritual things, and he was sharing how he's, through his brother in New York, he's exploring New Age and Buddhism, and we had this spiritual conversation where I was able to share the gospel just clearly with him, and we were having this conversation. I had to actually pry myself away from him after an hour and a half and say, all right, we got to get some food take care of our family. Those were stories like that, just like, man, for the lost people there. So many people who don't know Christ, who are trying so many different things. There's this one road where you can take up where you pass literally 3 or 4 cult churches, these big Catholic churches. And so another thing with Glendale Heights too that broke our hearts was seeing that there's only one small evangelical church there. That's it. One small Protestant church there, and then one Taiwanese church, too, Protestant Taiwanese church that's just almost dying out. Everyone's 70 or older there. And so, with that, we would love for you to consider joining our team in this great work that we believe God is doing. We believe the harvest is white in Glendale Heights. And so we'd ask for you to consider being part of our prayer team. That is huge. We can't do anything without prayer. God's got to build this church. Or our core team to be a part of what God is doing and be on the ground with us doing that. Or being part of our financial team. Another huge component to this. So we'd love for you to pray about that and think about that. There's 32,000 people there who are destined for a Christless eternity unless people share the gospel with them. So would you please join us?